Introduce Sean Spicer, former White House press secretary, serving under President Trump, now co-host for Newsmax weeknight show, Spicer and Company. Sean, welcome. FlashPoint, glad you're here tonight.
Thanks for having me, Gene. Pleasure to be with you.
All right, so Sean, you saw CNN, you're in the media. Why is it so difficult to get the real story on television from the news?
Well, because that's their default. I mean, they want to perpetrate the liberal line, and that's the go-to for them. So as Byron Donald so eloquently stated right there, they're not looking for a real answer. They're just looking for excuses to further a liberal or orthodoxy. And in this case, it's, the thing that's interesting about this particular answer is they can't say that any of what they're talking about would actually ever stop anything that they're looking to solve. Right. And that's the bigger question. So if you ask them, what would banning that do, or what would any of the proposals that they have on any particular situation do in furtherance of the goal that they're trying to achieve, they can't answer that question. And that's what I think we should be pushing back on, because that's I think the ultimate goal here. When you look at the crime and the tragedy that occurred, that's where I think we need to go back to and say, what would have changed had that what you're proposing occurred? And the answer is nothing. And so I think that's the point here, is that at some point we need to ask, are you just proposing additional regulations, which is sort of the go-to of the left for the sake of proposing more regulation, which is what they do?
Yeah, without a doubt, it's exactly what they do. Let me show you this from Ted Cruz. He posted this yesterday. The Covenant school shooting was horrific. For everyone who says thoughts and prayers aren't enough, I agree. Ask why every single Senate Democrat voted against my bill doubling police officers in school. One armed officer could have stopped this lunatic before a child was killed. Sean, I think every American out there is watching would agree with that. Why is it? Why is it that every single Democrat voted against police officers in school? What would be so bad about that?
Nothing. And it's not just, there's other answers, right? There's a lot of additional ways that you could harden these schools. I had two individuals, including the former police commissioner of Boston, who talked about ways that you could strengthen the windows, not in a very expensive way either, by the way. So there are ways that you can do this with limited resources. There are additional ways beyond just armed police officers utilizing former military veterans, using veterans in a post-service way that could help. There's a lot of additional things that can be done. Obviously, mental health is a key component to this, things that Democrats don't want to talk about. Ted Cruz is absolutely right. The Democrats have a one-trick pony. Everything has to do about banning guns. But there's a lot of additional things that can be done, from adding police officers and resource officers to schools, to hardening schools in other ways, to mental health options. This woman clearly had mental health issues. The police chief was citing them today during the press conference. He talked about the plan that she had. She went with a plan. She bought those firearms legally. She was clearly intent on doing this. She had planned this thing out. She was intent on killing people one way or another, and that is sad and tragic. But again, this is where Democrats are looking to any tragedy to further their liberal agenda.
Well, let's change direction just a little bit. Let's go deeper. Let's go back to when they were smaller. She was a young child. We've noticed that many people such as yourself have got involved in writing children's book. And you wrote a book, The Parrots Go Bananas. Explain, and of course this is with Brave Books, explain what this book's about.
Yeah. Well, look, and I know that you've had Trent Talbot, the CEO of Brave Books, and Brave puts out Christian patriotic books that allow us to sit down with our kids and talk about issues that are good, that build character. So in the case of mine, when I was approached by Trent and the folks at Brave Books, they said, what do you know well? And I said, I know politics and I know the media. And so we said, what could we do? And I talked to my kids about issues that they face. And so while we don't necessarily talk about fake news and dealing with the media, most kids that are 4 to 12 don't deal with the media. They do deal with issues where they're accused of things falsely, where kids pile on the bandwagon. They do deal with issues about right and wrong and having to discern the difference between right and wrong. And that's so often the case. We saw that in the case of Nicholas Sandman, that kid, student from Covington Catholic High School, where he was falsely accused for standing at the base of the Lincoln Monument. And everybody from the biggest anchors in the media piled on him and accused him wrongly of doing nefarious things. And then it wasn't until the video came out days later that proved that he was innocent. But by then the stain had been put on him forever. And so what we try to teach in the book that I wrote is that don't jump to conclusions. Think the best in people. Be better than everybody else. Come to the aid of folks. And I think that's the beautiful thing, is that kids, when they're young, face challenges where they want to jump on the bandwagon. They're encouraged by their peers to be part of the pack. And I think one of the things that if you're young, maybe you as a parent could read to them. If you're older, like my kids, they can read it for themselves. But it's a great way that all of these forces that they're facing, Gene, from the internet to society, that parents need to protect them from. Brave Books, and if you go to bravebooks.com, there's great content that teaches them good character, good citizenship. It's patriotic, it's Christian, things that you can be proud to read with your kids or allow them to read on their own and know that they're learning something that makes them a good human being and a good Christian.
Yeah, amen. All right, let me show you. You've got some good support. Let me show President Trump posted a truth on Truth Social. My friend Sean Spicer, I know about fake news. His new children's book called Parents Go Bananas warns the dangers and consequences of fake news. So important for kids and parents. Love this comment. Many Washington journalists should read it as well. Get your copy. What a great endorsement. Thank you. Thanks, Sean, for bringing that to our attention. Of course, we put up Brave Books. But let me go to Pastor Hank Kunneman. You're seeing a resurgence in kids' books as well for you.
Yes, because if you can reach the younger generation, the Bible says out of the mouth of babes and sucklings, God has ordained praise. Watch this, to still the avenger. And when you empower children with innocence, with truth, with morals, with good biblical principles, it absolutely instills something in them that becomes dangerous to the devil. And that's why he does the reverse and tries to indoctrinate them at such a young age. So I'm like Sean and the rest. I am absolutely releasing children's material that brings innocence and brings good humor and safe, good quality content that is going to be incredible for your children. So thank you, Pastor Gene, for letting me be able to kind of give a shout out.
Yeah,
for children.
And how can people find out about the kids, all the kids' material on your website?
Well, we have Captain Zepto, and we also have the Adventures of Mutsvi and Milo. They can go to hankandbrenda.org. And I'm also coming out with my first animated series. We're taking it to animation because I really want to take back the airwaves and take back the media giant there. And so they can go out to hankandbrenda.org. And the first video in the series in animation should be here in the next 30 days or so. So be watching. We're very excited about it.
We'll definitely get a teaser on that. Sean.
Yeah, Captain Zepto.
Sean, let me bring you back in here. I must say, my wife, we don't have any small children at home anymore. However, we have grandchildren. So we already have the Parents Go Bananas. Thank you very much. So, I shout out to all you grandparents out there. This is a great thing. Go get it and get it for your grandkids.
For the month of March, which we've only got a few days left, the folks at Brave Books, if you go to bravebooks.com, it's available for only $1. I mean, in the Biden economy, I don't think you can get anything for $1 anymore. So if you go to bravebooks.com, you can get the Parents Go Bananas when you sign up for the Freedom Island Book Club and get so much more. And that's the thing, is it really does allow you as a parent, a grandparent, a godparent, to ensure that some good content is coming into a child that you care about's home every month. And that's crucial. Yeah,
all right. Thanks, Sean. Yeah, you're welcome back. Whenever you get tired of that Newsmax channel, you're welcome to always come back on FlashPoint where the professionals are. So thank you. Thanks for joining us, Sean. Good to see you.
Thank you. Great to see y'all.
All right. So Gary Chapman, you heard about the kids' books. Do you have? I mean, you got all ages there in your house. You got them old and young. You got some of these books?
My older kids are gone, and one of my daughters has blessed me with my first grandchild. So Penelope will love all of these books, all of them. And it appears as though I need to write some kids songs because I'm totally behind the curve.
Yeah, it's probably that tinfoil hat you keep wearing, everywhere I see you. So
I just wanted to be ready in case the show turned that direction. Well, I'm a Boy Scout at heart. So,
Lance, please help me out here. So where do we from here? Let's go back now.
Wait, Gene, I got something.
Go ahead.
I want to ask you, do you have any kids? Since we're doing the kids' books, Do you have Gene Bailey's Guide to Revival for Kids? I think you should put it out there for the FlashPoint little ones.
That's true. We should do FlashPoint Kids. Yeah.
FlashPoint Kids. Exactly, Gene.
That's a great idea.
That's what I'm talking about.
Well, come on, publishers. I know you're watching. We need to do a FlashPoint for Kids. FlashPoint
that'll go over big.
Yeah.